We're live. Thank you very much. It's back again. Are we kicking on gas? Let's see. What's the... yeah, we're live. That's great. Right, so let's see. Right, let me put my lights on. Let me put my lights on. Boom. Okay, and then let's crank that up there. How we're doing? Right, that's that on. Right, we're good. We're good. Let's put this on as well. Pretend we're professionals. Pretend we know what we're doing. Right, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Solid streams. A couple of drop frames, but we're good. Right, just wait for the people to join in. Hopefully, hopefully the sound is not so bad. Hopefully we've got decent connectivity and that we are not dropping too many frames, but from what I can see we seem to be doing good. How's everyone doing? How's your day been? Right, well, I've been up to my ears in computers since about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Obviously I didn't get up till lunchtime because of last night's stream, so yeah. Hello, how's everyone going? Let me just crank the chat up. Yo, yo, yo. There we go. Yo, yeah, what's up, peeps? Right, so what we got today, got a bit of a treat for you today. A little bit of a treat. So, as you may or may not know if you watched last night's stream, playing at TikTok. There you go. Good-o. That's what he tells you anyway. So, as you may know from yesterday's stream, I ordered a little micro PC thing. Saw a few reviews online, wasn't expecting much, to be honest with you. Came delivered today. Pretty good, very good condition. I opened it up actually, there was no dust inside, so whoever's had it before had done a good job of either cleaning it or refurbishing it or whatever they do. It is an old machine. It's about 2014. It's the top of the line spec, and it's about £150 if you can find them, and I recommend that you try and do. Right, I'll just put the spec in the chat. Let's do that. Tiny PC i5 49, no, 45 and 90 T 8G, then 500. Right, that's what you want to look for online. That's the specs you want, and pick it up for 150 quid if you can find them. So basically this is it. So what we've got a little treat today. So you might notice a little this is a little 25 key icon keyboard, another Chinese brand that I would recommend. Again, the reason I like it is it's compact. Let me just move it under the thing. That's it. It's compact, 25 keys, controllers at the side, but it's full-size keyboard, not the little twinky ones that you get on these Akai's or whatever. It's proper full-size keys, so that does make a difference. So what I thought we'd do tonight is we'll turn this PC on, not for the first time, but we'll turn it on. It's DisplayPort out. So what I've got from my favourite peripheral supplier, Ugreen, I've got a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter, and then this HDMI is just going out to my capture card, and it would be going out to a monitor or a television if you want. This is the USB plug for my MIDI keyboard, this one here. This is the Wi-Fi antenna on an SMA thing, and this is the power. This is the power plug. In the front, we've just got a headphone jack plugged in, going into my sound card, but it's going into half of the sound card, so it's going to be in mono. So we'll see how we get on. So what I thought we'd do is turn this puppy on, watch it boot up, and then see what we can get out of it. I've installed some apps on it this afternoon. Again, it took me about an hour, just over, to put an operating system on it. It didn't come with an operating system installed. There was nothing on the HD. It was a blank hard disk inside. I think there was a little bit of lost in translation because I did ask for Windows 10. This machine comes with Windows 7 originally because of the year, but I wasn't interested in the Windows 7. So I think that because I wasn't interested in Windows 7, they just didn't put anything on it. And they knew that I was going to put my own operating system on it anyway, so that wasn't much of an issue. But anyway, fired it up, sorted out my boot disk. That took me about 30 minutes, which I was very impressed with, because since I did the last one took me a good day to sort it out, to boot it up. The last build that I did, the big beast that's sitting on, basically what you're watching at the moment, that what's handling all the streaming and stuff. So that's sitting down here, down on the floor. That's the dual boot system. That does Windows as well. So let's crank her up. Let's crank her up. So there's the finger of truth. So again, there might be some. I'm going to get rid of the background music just for a second, because what I've got is the sound of this machine is coming through the same channel as the mic. You'll hear it the same. It's on the same thing. So I can't separately control it. So I'm going to have to monitor in my headphones to see how we get on. Anyway, let's boot her up. And you'll probably hear a beep through the microphone in a minute. And let's switch over. Let's switch over to the see where we get on. So this is it booting up now. So there's me hands free, look. And you might have noticed on the screen that little logo. And as you see, it's booting up. Like I said, no hands. There we go. So basically, if we go back to the overhead, this is running the latest version of macOS. Hi Nade, hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for joining. So basically, we're just having a little look at my latest acquired Lenovo M93, or is it an M92? I can't remember. Not M92. And I managed to sort it out with a bit of Big Sur action. So I've got the Bluetooth keyboard. I haven't actually put, let me just switch back, I do apologise. I haven't actually put the right Bluetooth card in here at the moment because it's on order. What I have got is I've got a Bluetooth USB dongle here for the keyboard, for this keyboard. And this keyboard is actually, that will control my main machine and this machine and another machine because it's got 3 buttons on it, which is kind of handy. And then I've got the old classic mouse, which also can control both the main machine and this little puppy here. So on the front there's a little Unify receiver, and on the back there's a little Bluetooth thing there. Right, okay, all good, all good. Right, let's crack on. So let's type in the old passy pass and let's get this puppy spinning, if I remembered what the password was. Right, so this is what's coming out of the little unit at the moment. As I say, I haven't done much as far as install stuff, but what I wanted to show you is how capable it is for the price and the size. You're not going to be winning any races with it. Now actually this is going to be funny for me because I'm actually controlling the main machine now, and now I'm actually controlling that little micro mouse there. That's me controlling the thing. So the first thing we're going to do is I've got to move my own picture because I can't see myself. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is unlock that, move this out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Right, okay, now I'm going to go back to controlling the machine. So now I can open some apps that I've got. Now, some of the astute people among you might notice that I've actually installed Final Cut Pro and Logic, and also this little beauty I've installed. Now again, I haven't tried this yet, so we're doing this for the first time. So I've just, oh God, now I've got to move myself again. Hang on a minute. So I'm actually looking at the same thing as you guys are looking at. So I've got to move myself out of the way there. Let's do, yeah. Let's make myself smaller. You're not going to miss me, are you? There you go. Right, so let's go back to Reason. Now, I can't really see this. Again, I'm watching the output of the screen through the streaming software, so it's a bit awkward, but we'll try. We'll see how we get on. So I'm going to put the headphones on now because we're going to make some noise. Right, so in theory, if I go turn my MIDI keyboard on, and let's see if I go here, preferences, audio, where are we? I wish I wasn't so blind. Right, let me try increasing OBS. There we go, that's better. Right, so we have control surfaces. Let's see. We can put one on auto detect. Let's see what if there's anything comes up. I have got it plugged in. No keyboards or control surfaces found. That's not very good. Okay, let's try hot plugging, see if that works. It's not seeing my keyboard at the moment. It's not a good start. Let's try an auto detect again. No, okay. Okay, let's try. Okay, so far not so good. Like I said, this is the first time we've, well, you see, you always trust me to find solutions. That's my business, right? Right, so let's just go into settings real quick and see if my keyboard is recognized. So that's the audio, so that's okay. Now the beauty of this box is you can have the audio coming out of the HDMI cable, so this actually can be part of your set-top box. So I've got to do one here because I can't hear myself talk. So you can actually have this going into the telly and just have this as a media server, which is fan-dabby-dozy. But we want to be a little bit more funny, don't we? So show MIDI studio, where are we? Are we there? Now again, I haven't tried this. If the worst comes to the worst, now it is showing up here, icon keyboard. So it is showing up there. Okay, so it's plugged in, right? So the system's recognized it. So it's something to do with the software. So let's load hardware interface. No, oh God, it's been so long since I've used this app. Right, let's do a file, new from template, audio MIDI production. Let's try that. Okay, drums. Okay, missing line 6 module. Yeah, I haven't put it in yet. So we need to set up the MIDI input. Talk amongst yourselves, by the way. I'll be with you in a sec. Okay, so the key, you can hear that obviously through your. That's coming through. That's not too loud. Okay, so that's coming through. ZX is the. We can. Let's see if we can just add one. Manufacturer icon. If it's not on there, then we'll just do other. MIDI control keyboard. MIDI control surface, MIDI control keyboard. Right, we'll just do that. Generic name, MIDI input. There we go, found it. Right, let's see if we can get something out of this puppy. I'll tell you what, you spend half your life setting all this nonsense up. Right, let's see. Use with reason, limited. Yeah, okay. So let's see if I'm getting any MIDI input coming for some reason. Okay. So right, I've got modulation, pitch bend. So I've got pitch bend, but that actually is not. Oh no, I've added the wrong icon because on this keyboard, you've got half of it is the control surface and the other half of it is the keys. So I've added the wrong one. So if I delete this one, and then if we add another, obviously if you've got a name brand MIDI controller, like a Novation or something like that, then it would show up. So let's try this one, which is the one down. Let's see if that works. There we go. Told you. Right. Right, now I might need to turn that down if it's distorting. So let me know if it's distorting. I think it sounded a bit distorty in the headphones. Hang on. It's a little bit. Right, let's go to the headphone and just turn it down just a nats because it's going into my. That's better. Just gets rid of that crackle. Right. Right, the cursor setting up reason. Most sessions at gyms went through till 4 a.m. Well, I'll tell you what, it's almost 4 a.m. now. So start as you mean to go on. Right, let's get some drums. I would like to try and get some... Right, so anyway, reason works. I don't know, I haven't used it for months, so you're probably shouting at the screen. Oh, nice. Okay, well, hopefully that's coming through okay without any too much doodah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load a demo song and see if we can just to show you. I'll close that now. Just to show you what we can do with it. So let's see if we can open, if there's any demo stuff. Factory sound bank. No. Is there any? No. Is there anything in there? No, that's the sound bank. Right, let's see. I'm sure there's a demo song. Again, you're probably shouting at the screen because you know that there's one. But we'll carry on. Let's say new. I did remember when I first opened this thing, it did ask me if I wanted to load. Let's just quit out of it and load in. And then, as I say, I just wanted to show you this. It is quite an old. It's quite an old app. This one. It's been around for a while. Demo songs. Let's see if there's anything in there. Okay, let's open this. See if it'll play. Because that's a good indication of where we are. So this young lady made this song. That's her info if you're interested, and we'll see if it plays, because that's a good key of where we are, isn't it? All right, here goes. Again, this is in mono, but don't forget, this is all coming from this box, which is the size of my hand. You're welcome. All right, so that's a live demo. So obviously everything works. It's not very. The mouse is not very responsive for me because I'm monitoring it through the software. So now let's show you the big boy stuff. Let's put our big boy pants on. Let's go for a spin with this little puppy. This has been updated for Mac OS Big Sur. It's still asking me to download a 60 gig library, which I'm get on, like I said, get onto that. Let's do an empty project. Let's start from scratch. So you can get an idea of how we are. So we'll start with a software instrument. This is what I made all my China tracks on. Okay, so basic electric piano. Right, so that's a bit boring. So let's go for synthesizer. Let's go for I don't know. Some of these have got little icons beside them, and that means that they're not fully downloaded. The factory, there's 60 gig of sound. What's it's on? Like I said, the best thing to do is pick one up, and then I can guide you through. Oh shit! Excuse me. I just dropped my wallet. I can guide you through what you need to make, to make the USB work, and just to boot, how to boot it up and how to load everything. So yeah, what I could do as well is just get yourself one, load in Windows. I can get all this stuff sent over to you through the net. Then when you're ready, we'll do a Skype call, and I'll walk you through booting into Mac and getting all this stuff installed. Again, it took me an hour to boot in, but it didn't take me an hour. It just okay, what are these? Massive Stack. Bit of techno. So let's put another track in there. So you do another track by the plus button, then you choose software instrument. It could be an audio loop. Let's see what audio loops we've got. So we'll do an audio loop. Then we'll go to our loops folders here. Again, these are all downloads. You can see a lot of them haven't finished downloading yet, because there's, like I said, there's 60 gigs worth of. Yeah, it is easier if the thing is, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to post it. If I am, then no sweat at all. It's in the post for you. But yeah, let me inquire. But I mean, I wanted to test it first before it, because you know me, I don't recommend anything that doesn't work. And when we've had a little bit of a groove on here, I'll show you the video editing side. Right, so let's get genre. Let's go deep house. Let's see if there's anything in the deep house that's loaded. No, nothing. Normal house. Acid bass. What's this? Oh, thank you, sir. Right, we'll put that in. That's an acid loop, right? So we need something. We need something on top of that. Let's put a loop in there. So as I say, this is Logic. It'll take a while to get used to, but the beauty of Logic is it when you first open it, it's in like a GarageBand kind of format, so it's very easy to use. And then you can click on the advanced settings as you go, and then all of a sudden it will start to open up all the functions. But this is like pretty much what you need to get now. As a professional studio, this box will only run 20 tracks or so before it starts to choke, which by saying that, there's obviously a benchmark test, and it will run 20 tracks with lots of, like here you see lots of these blue things here, which are plugins. So this is the, if I double click that, that's the plugin. So these are all your doodahs and your twiddly whatsits, and you can map all these. Bit of filter, bit of flanger. That's the sine, and then you've got your filters down here and your envelope. Anyway, this is just a simple plugin. This is you can change the sounds from here. So these are synth leads. So let's go do this. So, well, like I say, you've never used it, but it's a great tool to learn with. And I think once you start getting the concepts of what is a plugin, what is a MIDI track, what is a instrument track. So basically it's very simple. You've got instrument tracks which basically play inside the box. You've got audio tracks which play physical music loops. Like this is actually a WAV loop. So this loop here, if I solo it and play it, right? So that's the loop. That's just going to go round in a circle now, because that I've set my loop points. Now if I add a little bit, if I click on the massive stack, then I can play. Anyway, something like that. So if I wanted to record that in as a MIDI, so let's mute that as I record. I need a click, so I open K for the metronome, and then I can press R for record. Right, and then obviously then I double click this track, and then my piano roll editor will come up, which you're very familiar with because that's what Reason is based on, piano roll. So then I can select one note, then I can go Command A to select all notes, then I can go Q to quantize, then I can make them longer like that, and then I can adjust where the key change is. So then I can go up. So I can go down. So something like that. And again, you can, depending on your talent, you can do everything in the piano roll editor. And to be honest, this is a brilliant window just in itself. This window here can basically be full screen. It can be moved. I've got different window layouts on the thing. So if I go into window layout 1, Basically, I can have each one of these on a different screen. It's like Reason is basically what you would have in a phone, and Logic is what you'd have in a studio. That's basically all I could say. They both can do the same things, but Logic can do 100 times more with more oomph. But there's some parts in it that are, I mean, a key editor, a piano roll editor is the same in any DAW. It's pretty much the same. Again, a WAV editor, audio editor is the same in all DAWs, because people need to know how to cut an audio loop, and each DAW does it in a different way. Cubase, obviously, you've got Pro Tools, you've got Logic, and they're the three big boys. I'm sure I'm missing a few. Then the smaller ones, you've got Ableton Live, which is more loop based. A lot of the DJs do that. Then you've got Fruity Loops, which is again, a lot of the DJs like that because it's very graphical. But Logic is a homegrown version that Apple bought back in the day from eMagic years and years ago, and they've developed it very well. Yeah, so I'm not happy with the length of these, so I need to make. I've forgotten some of the key commands. I think it's that. Yeah, that's. Is it that one? Or is it that one? Force legato I'm looking for. Anyway, there's a couple of key commands that make. I think it's that. Is it? So you can delete all these, and then you can get your note, and I can zoom in a bit. So if I zoom in, and then option drag to copy, and then it should snap to the, there you go, should snap to the grid. And then I can select to, again, I'm doing this very clunky because I'm on the, I'm watching this through the streaming software, but you get the idea. It's basic. Right, let's just get a line of these, get a row of these, and of course, if there wasn't the delay that I'm dealing with, you'd run through these, and you'd get. I know that's out of time, so you just snap it to the box. There you go. Right, that's out of time, so we just quantize those four. So that's a for that. Delete that. Select that. Option drag that, and I've made a copy. So now I've got two lots of 4 bars. So that bit there with the key change, those need to go up. So alright, so and then we can turn the volume down. Now obviously, I mean, this is the main window, this is the piano roll window. Then you've got step sequencer window, you've got score window, and you've got up here, these are all your windows. So you've got main window, mixer window, smart controls, everything. And you can lay the windows out how you want, right? So let's get rid of, we want to get rid of the piano roll window. So obviously I haven't set up any key commands or anything yet, so it's all a bit clunky, funky. But what I can do is just shrink this down like that. All right, so it's gone. Okay, so this is the main arrangement window. I can close this, close that, right? So this is, so you get a bit more. I can close my loops window, right? So this is your main arrangement window, right? So now that what we want is we want to add some drums, right? So another track, let's go software instrument, let's go create. Again, it's brought up my library for drums, but we don't need the library. We can just choose the plugin ourselves. So we do that by choosing the plugin. Then we go to, there should be a drum designer somewhere, or we do Ultra Beat. That's an old school way of doing it. There is an old, and of course you've got multi-output, so you can mix everything. Again, drum synth, let's try that. That's new to this version, or drum kit designer. Let's try that. This is quite, yeah, okay, that's a bit rock and roll. I mostly use drum synth. Yeah, that's a bit. Let's see where we are. You can. I don't think you can run dual monitors on this one because it's only got a single display port output. But I do know that I'm trying to find the kick drum. Where is it? I'm on. Oh, because I'm soloed, idiot. A heavy kick in it. Right, let's go to hard kick. Let's go to punch kick. Now these are kicks made from synths. They're not samples. So let's try kicks. Let's try. Is there a house kick in there? Oh, an 808. Punch kick, tough kick, tight kick. Let's turn that decay off. There's that noise. Where's that noise? Right, so you can put it in as a MIDI loop. But the thing is with the dual monitors, they do a version of this box with dual display ports, because at the back there's a cutout where the display port can be. So if you get a model with dual display ports, you can run dual monitors, not an issue. And the CPU, again, you just need to make sure you get the right CPU because it's integrated graphics. So the graphics is on the CPU. So that's why it's imperative you get the top of the line CPU, which is the i5 4590T, not the 4570T, which is slightly lower clock speed. And I think the 4590T CPU is capable of 4K output. So again, right, let's just put that in as a kick. All right, so again, press record. I'm on the track, tight kick, press R for record. Right, that has got terrible delay, so that needs to be quantized. Again, we double click. We can select all these notes. These are MIDI notes. So there's about 5-6 different ways you can record drums into Logic. You can do it like this way, where you're triggering an external soft synth. You can actually put a loop inside a WAV file and chop it up by cutting it like you would a clip on a movie. And you can actually load in another plugin which is specially designed for making drums, which that's not free bad. And if you notice now, I've got a floating piano roll window. So now this once I double click on this piano roll window will come up floating, and I can have this on another monitor if I wanted to, or I could finish working with it and just close it out. What I also can do is spread out the windows on one desktop and have, where it says one here, I can have multiple desktops. So if I've got limited real estate, i.e. single monitor, you can go from view 1, view 2, view 3, and you could quickly get a really good workflow going. Now we want to double up on this track, so we just press this button here, the plus, and that gives us a duplicate of the same track with the same plugin. So what we do then is we go to this plugin and we open it. Right, so this is our kick, tight kick, and now we're going to go to hi-hats, snares and claps. Right, so snappy snare, no, mechanical clap. So let's try human clap. It's not bad, a bit higher up in the range. So then again press R. Again, double click on the line, brings up the window, select one, Command A to select all, Q to quantize, and then play. And let's shorten them all because they're a clap. They don't need to be that long for a clap. So now we get a bit of the boom tap. Right. So let's again we duplicate this track again. Then we add some hi-hats. So then we double click, we select the track that we want, we open the plugin, or we can change a different plugin, there's lots of them. So the faders is open in the plugin. Then we go to percussion, hats and cymbals, crash, let's do smooth hi-hat. Okay, it's not bad. So now we're just going to do a 16. Now what I can do is if I set this to 16th notes and a note length, I can just draw them in like this. I can just draw them in. If I can I just draw them in? Pencil tool, yeah, no, I should be able to. I know, it's a. There we go. There we go. Sorry, I wasn't at the right end of the bar. So I should, if I remember rightly, I need to specify the note length. But I can specify the note length and literally draw them in. And Fruity Loops is very good with that. And again, if you stay in the piano roll, you can do everything you want in the piano roll. It's just I'm an old school guy. I do everything by MIDI. So let's just play it in. Right, so that's that. Again, that'll be quantized to 16th notes. Double click to open. Double click to close, right? It's very simple, quite intuitive. Select one of the notes, Command A to select all, quantize. The quantize is already set here to 16th note at 100%, and then we can add some swing as well, which is kind of cool. So there's 50% swing on there. So you get that kind of tats, 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 tats. So you get a bit of a groove. So now we're getting a bit mushy. So what we then do is we double click that and then we press X and then the mixer comes up. And look at this gorgeousness. So now what we can do is we select all of these, okay, we bring them down, right, and then obviously we'll have no sound, right. Oh, there's the loop, right. So let's bring that loop, we'll turn the click off for a start, right. So then we start off with the drums, right. So we get the bass drum, and then the clap. Actually, before I start doing a little bit of a mix, I want to just do one more track, and then we'll move on to video, right? Because you get the idea. And I just wanted to show you that it's capable of doing all of this, and more. For what you get in the box is as far as I'm concerned, it's a no-brainer. And again, if all else fails, you've got yourself a doorstop, right? Bring it on. Right, so let's one more time with the drum synth. We're going to do rides. So we're going to do, let's see, what else is there? We want to do percussion, horizon cymbals. That's all right. That'll do. Again, this is all made from synthesis. It's not any samples or anything like that. And obviously, it's not the ideal thing to use for drums. But I'm just showing you quickly more of how to put the sounds into the sequencer rather than the kind of sounds that you use. So let's just record. Simple and sweet. 4 on the floor. Again, there's a mistake there, so we can delete that. And then Command A, select all, Q for quantize, and then should be nice and tight. Now, if you listen to the closed hi-hat and the open hi-hat together, the closed hi-hat has a bit of a swing to it, whereas the open hi-hat is kind of okay. Then we add the drum. And then a kick. That kick's a bit crap. Let's see if we can get something a bit better. I don't like that kick. Classic mistake that people make in house music is having the bass drum way too high in the mix, which is what you don't really want. But what I would like to do is probably lower the octave like that. That's a bit better. Then let's try with the acid loop again. Now I've got a bit more mix in my headphones. Okay, and now that you've got a rough mix, you can open the mixer and you can select them all, and you can bring them up relative to each other, which is quite good. And then on the master here, we can add some dynamics. We can add a compressor, so that compresses everything. So that's smacking it down, probably a bit too much. A little bit of compression there, it's probably way too much, but and then you do a little bit of adaptive limiter on there, and that just brings up the level. So that's just crunching it down. So now we can bring the acid bass up a bit. So if you've noticed, the bass line is kind of riding the main riff. You've got some nice bass in the bottom. And again, once you've played with that, you can close the mixer by pressing X, and then you turn the solo off, and then you can start moving these around like breeze blocks. Anyway, very basic, yeah. Very basic. Now, regarding your question, recording live, of course. So what you do is you just select a track. So you add a track, you add an audio track, input. So this is where you choose your input. So we're going to do, let's say we're going to do input 1. And then we create. And again, here is your input there. There's your microphone level. You can record, you can add some vocal, you can input on a mic or whatever, or anything that's plugged into your device. And again, don't forget you're using a computer with no sound card, right? So if you wanted to do crazy recording, my arms are getting cold. If you wanted to do crazy recording, then you would have to get a cheap sound card, audio interface, USB it in the back, and you're off and running. And again, it's how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, because this is Logic, right? So we close out of Logic. Okay, let's save that. Let's call that Timmy Jams. Right. So that's back out to the home screen now. Again, it's not Windows, it's Mac, so it's a bit cleaner, it's a bit nicer. If you've got an iCloud account, which is like Hotmail account or Gmail account, then the whole thing comes to life because all your email is here. Quickly, I'll just show you some productivity tools like Keynote. Let's say we want to do a excuse me, we want to do a small thumbnail for our YouTube channel, so we can just we can just select from a template. So let's just do basic 16 by 9 white. You can add you can add your titles and all that stuff. You can draw a shape. Very photoshoppy, very photoshoppy. If you know roughly what you're doing, you can make a banner. We can put a border around here, so we can do a line border. We can say 7 point. Then we can make the fill. We can make the fill to be no fill. So that just gives us, we've just made ourselves a little frame, right? And inside that frame, we can now add some text. So we can add a text box. And I like it where you get the markers up all the time. Again, it's exactly the same as Photoshop or Adobe. And again, if you start to learn the key commands and functions and things, and then again, just Command plus to you can crank up the size of the font. This is all your fonts here. Classic impact font. We can go. Let's go 150 for font size. Bang. And again, then you can make your you can make your little templates or signs or whatever you want. So that's Keynote. Basically, it's the same as PPT. Okay, so we delete that. So where were we going? So we're going to close these so they're not running in the background. Then we're going to go up here. We're going to open Final Cut, which is your video editing. Now, for this machine, I haven't tried 4K. I would probably stick to 1080p if possible. I don't know how familiar you are with editing programs. I basically just dragged in a TV show and this is the whole program, and I selected parts of it. And I can drag across the timeline. There's no stuttering. There's no doobie-doobie. So I'm just going to put some edits on the bottom of the timeline just for quickness. So that there, if I go I for in point.
Never seen her. We don't do that no more. Who does? Give me a name.
And then after give me a name, O. And then I'm going to go W. And that pastes it at the end of the timeline. So.
Never seen her. We don't do that no more.
Right. So what I've done here is I made a slow motion kind of thing. So I'll just show you the rough edit that I've made. It was like
The organization.
Not as cool as you.
Joe.
Hello. I'm now in setup mode.
And then that's in slow motion, that one.
Never seen her. We don't do that no more. Who does? Give me a name.
So, yeah, I mean it's very simple stuff. You can add a color grade, you can add effects over the stuff.
Seen her. We don't do that no more. Who does? Give me a name.
You can once you've got the effect on it, you can start messing around with the effect. And again, YouTube tutorials, definitely worth a watch. This is Logic. Again, it works. It works. It's not junky. It's not jerky. You're looking at it live. what else have we got in there? And again, I just there is additional content because you've got Logic installed and Final Cut. They can share things like sound effects. So when you start recording your own stuff and you want to put sound effects on the bottom of it, or like fills or something like that, a lot of those samples and loops are already in Logic. So you can just use them straight in. It's a little bit like how Adobe works, right? All the apps are kind of interchangeable, but you don't need to pay a what's it fee, right? So also Plex as well. There's two versions of Plex you can get for this. One is the media player, which allows you to plug it into the telly. So obviously you've got HDMI out, and it knows that the app knows it's got HDMI out on this computer, so it can actually go straight into the telly, and it can act as like a set-top box. So you're actually using a computer for a set-top box. Of course, you've got your other apps, your iTunes and your emails and your messages and your iMessage. If other people, like for example, Singing Neil, he's got an iPhone, right? So you can open this and you can message him or you can call him. You can video call him from the computer to his iPhone for free because he uses iMessage, right? It's all part of the i team. Excuse me. Yeah, basic stuff. But this is the brand new operating system from Apple, Big Sur. It's just come out the other week, and it's running on a £150 computer, which is the size of my hand. I can't show you anymore because my battery's run out on my overhead camera. So that's actually the that's coming from the thing. So again, I would definitely find one on the online, see how much they are. The reason I would say get it there, because the price you'll pay there is probably cheaper than the one I get here. Now the thing is, I haven't tried Premiere Pro. Now the thing is, if you're going to use Premiere Pro, then you could use Windows. The reason I've used Mac for this is because I prefer it. It's just a better operating system. It's a way of getting into the Apple ecosystem without paying the Apple tax or the Apple money. And let me just... Right, I've got to go back to controlling this now. Right. So let me just shrink that. It's better to have... Let me just turn the music back on again. There we go. Hope that's not too loud. Right. So yeah, basically it's because the proprietary apps that I like are Logic and Final Cut. They're Apple only. Because they're Apple only, they're optimized for the Apple ecosystem, so they work really well inside Apple. Now, because Adobe is a cross-platform software, Adobe probably wouldn't run as well on this machine as Logic would, as Final Cut would, because Adobe wouldn't be optimized as much for this particular device, because Adobe expects to see pretty high-end software, hardware. In other words, when you first boot up, if you haven't got a fairly decent CPU and lots of RAM, Adobe complains. They don't like it because they like to be run on real expensive production machines, right? $2,000 plus. So if you're gonna get a machine like this for this money, I think you're better off doing it as a Hackintosh and running Final Cut Pro and Logic, because I've tested them and they run well. And at the end of the day, if the worst comes to the worst, all you need to do is format the hard drive and you can just install Windows. Installing Windows is like, taking a dump. It's easy. You just put the USB in and it does it itself. You need to buy a Windows key which would probably cost you about £10. That you offer, you don't go to buy a CD from the shops anymore. You get them from an OEM supplier. So you'll go online and download a Windows proper legit key, so you can have a proper registered version of Windows. You can run Windows unregistered. It will just have a little watermark in the corner saying please register this Windows, which is annoying. But it will come with, and again, if you buy the machine in the UK, chances are it will come with a Windows key, and you can use that to upgrade to Windows 10, so it's not an issue. But like I said, running Adobe on a machine this size might be, again, I've to be honest, I prefer Final Cut. And if you're not if you're in a kind of frame of mind where you just want things to work and you just want to know where everything is, then Final Cut is probably, you'll get more out of it quickly. In other words, it does a lot of things for you that makes your edits look good, whereas Adobe, you've got to kind of dive in and know every bit of the app to make. Now obviously there's going to be people that are going to say I'm talking bollocks, and they're going to ask, they're going to have something to say about my comments. But from my point of view, I've had more creativity output with these two software than I have with Adobe Suite. Again, I've always been using Mac since 2008. So I'm very much in the Mac ecosystem. And also as well, another thing that I forget to mention is that if you use Mac, then I can offer you support. If you use Windows, then I can't, because I don't know it as well as I do with something else. And again, one of the reasons why I bought my mum a MacBook rather than a cheap PC from Dixon's is because I wasn't going to be around to help her every other minute with technical difficulties. But with the Mac, first of all, I knew that all the software that you need for everyday stuff, productivity and stuff, you don't need to pay for it. Like if you have Windows, you need to have Office 360, which you need to pay for. You need to install this, you need to install that, you need to install an antivirus, you need to install It's just a nightmare. Now don't get me wrong, I've got a PC and I use it because a lot of the software I need for the lighting and the design is PC only. But as far as a daily driver goes, the Mac is much better, is a much better experience. And I think, again, it's the best of both worlds for this little machine, because at the end of the day, if all goes tits up and it's not what it should be, or it crashes or it overheats or whatever, then there's nothing to stop me from nuking the drive and just reinstalling a different operating system. I do it all the time, so it's easy. I've got a dual boot down on the ground, which means I've got a motherboard with 2 slots for 2 hard drives, and they're the fast hard drive. They're not like the SATA hard drives that plug in with a cable. They're the fast NVMe hard drives, and I've got one that's got Windows on it and one that's got Mac on it, and I dual boot. So the computer doesn't care what it's running. It just knows if I press this, go into that. If I press this, go into that. And it means that I can have all my games on the Windows side and they won't touch anything on the Mac side. So I use my Mac as mainly a consumption device and productivity, although I'm not being so much productive at the moment. And then the Windows side I use mainly for games. And so far it's perfect, because as soon as I open the Windows side, all my games are there. Double click, boom, they start instantly. I mean, I'm not buying a PS5, sod that. So yeah, that's my reckoning. So I was quite happy with this machine because I knew whatever happens, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to work as well as it did with the software that's just come out, because I took about 6 to 8 hours trying to get my other PC to work, and I had to do it twice. So I took a long time to get this big one to work. But with this one today, it half an hour, and I had my disk ready to install, and then it took me another hour because it needed an hour to install, because it's a 12 gig operating system. It's quite a chunky operating system. It's quite deep. And again, once you've set up all the drivers and stuff, and again, if I'd have installed the Bluetooth card, I would have had wireless and Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth proprietary Mac. So I would have had handoff, AirPlay, all the kind of streaming, all that kind of stuff. The other Apple, I mean, obviously you don't have an iPhone, so it's not as important to you, but it's still important if you want to stream audio. For example, if you want to get AirPlay, you can stream audio to a streaming device, so you can stream audio from the computer to a different room. You can do lots of things like that. And again, you can do all the HomeKit stuff as well, which is good, which is kind of like Google Assistant. You can do Siri and all that. But anyway, I'm not an Apple fanboy. I just like the. Don't forget, I had a computer before I had an iPhone. I had an Apple laptop before I had an iPhone. I didn't buy an iPhone for an iPhone. I bought the iPhone because I'd never had an iPod, and I thought this has got an iPod on it, so I might as well get a. Don't get me wrong. It's not going to be as good as a well-spec'd laptop. But a well-spec'd laptop, you're looking at $2,500, $3,000. Now that's the thing you got to think of. $2,500 to $3,000 is a big chunk of change if you're just, dipping your toe in the water kind of thing. Whereas this is like 150 quid. And yes, you can get a second-hand tower PC for about the same amount, which will be more powerful than this, but it won't run Mac. It won't run OS. And I think for the fact that you've got flawless productivity software, which allows you to get up and running, make a tune, edit some video, do a thumbnail for your YouTube, all in one box, all in one day or one afternoon, without any hassle. That's worth, that's got to be worth the price of admission just for that. And again, it's got 4 USB slots. It's got USB 2, three of them on the back, 3 USB 3s. So you can have 2 streaming cards plugged into the back of this, plus a USB sound card, plus a wired keyboard and mouse. If I put the Bluetooth card inside it, then the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth keyboards will work without any what's it in at all. You've got a built-in Ethernet port at the back, so you can wire it into your modem directly for super speed, or you can have it Wi-Fi. And again, if you're doing a lot of streaming, you can do Wi-Fi. If not, you can just have it wired. And again, the portability of the thing, it's just an absolute no-brainer. Yes, you will need a monitor, or you can plug it into your television. But the fact is, you're never going to get the quality and level of the apps that I've just shown you on any other device apart from a serious PC or a Mac. And again, you're talking the basic Mac that's just come out, the MacBook Air, is 999 quid, and that's basic. 4 gig of RAM. I think it's 4 gig or 8 gig. I can't remember. Anyway, it's the bottom of the line. So the storage is not going to be that much. I think it's about 128 gig of storage. This one's 500. It's modular. You can upgrade it, and it's cheap. So, I mean, I was running it today while I was messing about with it. I had it plugged into to my portable touchscreen monitor. I wasn't using the touch part of it, but I could plug the USB and have a touchscreen Mac if I wanted to, because it works. But you know, it's no point. It's actually easier to put Mac on this than it is to put it on a laptop, because the laptop, you have to have drivers for the mouse, you have to have drivers for the backlit keyboard, you have quirks where the speaker doesn't work, you have lots of quirks, you have lots of quirky stuff. This, to me, has been flawless. I mean, admittedly, I've only been using it a couple of hours, but you saw me mucking about just now. There was no blue screen of death, there was no panics, there was no jerky, there was no spinning beach balls. Pretty flawless. I'm over the moon with it, really, for what I pay for it. And again, if I get bored, this can go outside and become my my computer just for streaming Plex to my telly. And at the same time, I could have my Bluetooth keyboard on the sofa and send a quick email to somebody. Now, admittedly, you could do that with a tablet, yeah. And what I'm talking about, you could do with a tablet, but you can't run Logic on a tablet. You could run Reason, but when you want to get to the next level, Logic is the way to get to the next level. Or if you want to collaborate with other people, you've got Logic. You can't do that with Reason. It's not as... You could get the wave files and export them as a wave and then share the waves to other people. You could do all that, but so yeah, that's basically that's basically the little. I didn't think it was going to come today, actually, because I got a note from the delivery guy to say that he can't come, he's delayed or whatever. But then 40 minutes later, my telephone went bing bong to say it's been delivered, and it was at the front door. So yeah, I mean, you probably wouldn't, not much. I mean, the spike would probably go through it, but like I said, I mean, I wouldn't pay 150 quid for a hammer, but I'd definitely pay 150 quid for a computer that can run the kind of software that I want it to run. And again, even if it doesn't run Logic very well, which I've just shown you that it does, that it can run fine, the sort of music we do. I mean, it's not going to do a Hans Zimmer fucking Batman soundtrack, but it'll do plinky plinky plonky plonky. But at the end of the day, I could put my DJ software on there and have it as my DJ track, and just have a desktop mounted 21-inch screen as my laptop replacement for my DJ gear, and just have that. Just have this. Still running Mac. That's the key, see? Because I can't switch to PC and have a seamless productivity, because I'm so used to all the Mac software, and I've got all the Mac software. So if I change to PC, I've got to refine. I mean, I spent quite a long time trying to get hold of the Adobe software just for Jay, because I hadn't got the PC version. I've only got the Mac version. And again, obviously, with the PC version, you need to have a chunky PC to get the most out of it. Because if you start coughing and spluttering where it won't even load, then you lose all your creative spirit, and it's just like, I'll sod this, I'm going out, and you just close the machine and walk out, because it doesn't, it should be, these things are just tools. They should be not, you should not even know that they're there. You just should turn it on and then just go deep inside the software, and you shouldn't even hear the hardware cough or splutter or anything, because it should be just working flawlessly in the background, and that's when you get more creativity. And I found switching over to Mac, there was so much less tweakage I had to do on a Mac than I had to do all the time on the PC. I had to always think about this and install that driver, and I couldn't directly plug that in, because it will say, oh, now admittedly, Windows 10 has got a hell of a lot better than it was when I was using Windows. It's not like it was. It's prettier. It comes with most of the drivers you need, or it's good at going out and getting the drivers it needs to get during the install. But it does mean that you need an internet connection while you're installing, because it needs to go out and find all the drivers. So it does it all in the background. Now, admittedly, that's good, but with a Mac, 9 times out of 10, it knows what you've got, so it knows how to do everything. So you don't need to. It doesn't disturb you for stupid things, which is good. So, yeah, it is. I mean, I'm pretty pleased with it. I mean, obviously, you can hear that I'm kind of singing its praises. I mean, to be honest, I haven't actually found a proper home for it yet. Because, you know, obviously my production machine is in front of me. I don't travel anywhere at the moment, so I don't need to travel with it. And I think I would still have a laptop if I was going to travel and do, just because of the convenience, opening the screen, closing the screen. But for this, I would use it for more like a maybe, like a music server for a small DJ setup with a MIDI controller on it in a small, and have all the music on here, and just having it as a server, serving the music to the, to the thing, or even as a television box. Because that other box is great, don't get me wrong, and of course it's a tenth of the price of this, which is a tenth of the price of a PC. So so you've got Android at 64 gig of RAM, an Android box with limited capabilities that just can serve television to you, whereas this has got 500 gig. It can do television and a plethora of other stuff, and it could do your accounts, and it could do your diary, and it could do your website hosting, and it could do all your invoices if you want. You could do everything. It's all there. And that's one thing I have done with my Mac, is I learned how to use numbers and Keynote, and I was doing all the VI and all the company stuff I did myself, all the logos and everything else, did them myself. So it's very good to have a computer that you can just quickly turn on, quickly bosh out an invoice. You've got your letterhead at the top, you've got your thing down the bottom, and it just looks the part, And when you're approaching people, especially new customers, you can give them a pamphlet and say, look, this is what I've done before. You can take some aerial shots of your hedges and put them in a PPT, a proposal, or a keynote, and then get it all nice, and then actually go out and have that keynote as a PDF, and then the next person who asks you what do you do, you just email them the PDF and you say, this is my company, and it saves you thousands. So I've done that before. And again, like I said, all this was coming from the headphone jack of the thing. So there was no sound card together with it. It was all from the headphone jack. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, really. But I was very impressed about how easy it was to put the Mac software on there. And I've got a feeling that once people realise how easy it is, then this machine is going to get snapped up and they're going to get sold out, because I've already checked a business company that deals in second-hand computers in the UK. They deal mostly in office computers, servers. They've all sold out of these. They've sold out of them. So, like I said, if you find one online with the specs that I've said, for the price that I've said, and you've got a spare 150 quid knocking about in your pocket, you can't go wrong with it, honestly. You can't go wrong. And like I said, if anything goes wrong in it, you can change it out. You can swap out the CPU because it's got a proper socket there. It's not soldered to the board. You can swap out the RAM. You can swap out the Wi-Fi card. You can swap out the fan. it's amazing, and the power supply is external. So if the power supply blows up, you just buy a new power supply. So it's like, honestly, this little machine, it's. I think because they've been so focused on the business model of, because obviously they used to be IBM, didn't they? And Lenovo bought IBM. Obviously they're purely business focused, but this little machine could have gone wonders if this machine was given to a different company, like a, Samsung or somebody, and made it as a creative's little toolbox. They could have done a lot of sales. But I guess they did do a lot of sales because most of the stations in offices use these little all-in-one units because they're a lot cheaper than an iMac, and no one's going to spend that much on an iMac just for a receptionist. But yeah, although they do put iMacs in reception because they look good and they just run Windows on them. Whereas this is the Windows machine and I'm running Mac on it, which is very ironic. But yeah, and again, it's the first time I've used Big Sur because I'm still running Catalina, which is the version before. They've just updated it. Catalina's been out for about a year, and some of the developers haven't caught up with it yet. So some plugins, they might not work. Whereas this, because obviously Final Cut and Logic is made by Apple, they updated it straight away. So they changed, it works flawlessly with the software. And that's the key, is if you're going to do video editing on a Mac, then you would use Final Cut. Although there is a lot of people that use Premiere Pro, so it swings and roundabouts. But for me, I think, knowing you and knowing what you do with the video, I think you'll get a lot of results using Final Cut, because a lot of the apps that have been popular on the portable machines, like the tablets, they're kind of Final Cut Pro-esque, i.e. they have the magnetic timeline and things like that, which is good. And again, 150 quid get you in the door. It's a no-brainer. You're not gonna, you wouldn't even get a second-hand Apple for that price. You wouldn't, the Mac that I've got over there has just given up the ghost. The display card has broken again, and it's been repaired once already. And it's 2011, and it wouldn't run Final Cut as good as this. And I could get 500 quid for that. I could sell it tomorrow and get 500 quid for it, just for spares and repair. At the very least, I could get 300. Just because it's got the Apple logo on it, you'll get 300 quid for it. People will just use the chassis for that money. So, like I said, that's just the Apple tax. That's just how it goes. But this one, no one wants them. They're ugly machines. But the problem is, as soon as people start to realise that it's quite easy, and again, I learned how to do this on a YouTube channel. And as soon as people start realising that these machines run Big Sur very well and quite easily to install, and the install process, you don't need to be a hacker to sort it out anymore, whereas before you had to kind of delve deep into the terminal. Now it's a case of copy paste, and people have made some apps to do it, so you don't even need to mug around anymore. You just tick the box. Do you have this machine? Do you have that machine? Yes, click. There you go. Copy this to there. Done. Wow. All right. So that was that. So yeah, definitely on the list of is Apple tax. Yeah, I know. But hey ho. To be honest with you, they have got very tossy in the last 5 years. They used to be really cool, but they've got really tossy now. Whether it's because people took the piss or I don't know, but they, when you called them, it was like, they loved you and they loved you as a customer. Now, simply because of the size of them, they just don't give a fuck. It's like, yeah, whatever. So it's like, what are you going to do? I've got, I'm in the ecosystem. I use the computers, so I've got the phones, I've got the Apple TV, although I don't use Apple TV as much anymore because they started to lock down they wouldn't let you play certain files because they want you to buy the files from there, like Disney Plus. They want you to buy, stream the music like Netflix. Now, I've never had a subscription to anything, so I've always got it by fishing. I've just been, collected my own data, and just collecting it all myself, and serving it to myself. I'm like these guys that have got like servers in their bedroom or the office downstairs. That's probably what my house will be. I'll have a cupboard under the stairs that will be serving media to my whole house. I'll be able to watch whatever I want on whatever screen I want, which is what you should have these days. And eventually that's what my house will be. I'll have a screen in every room, and I can basically watch, I can stop Plex in one room and continue the same Plex movie in another room, and it will know where I am, and it will carry on from, and also as well, I can actually turn the lights on and off. And that one we saw yesterday. I mean, you can go to yesterday's stream and just zip through to the place where I searched, where I said, and you can get the same one. But it's like I said, it's the if you can get a dual display port one, then go for it. But again, it'll be probably an extra 30 quid, and it'll mean you buying an extra monitor. So then you start going deeper down the rabbit hole. What I would suggest for this model is cap it at that much, because you've still got to buy yourself a keyboard and mouse, and I would recommend a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. So that's going to be 50 quid. So if you're looking at 150 for the machine and then 50 quid for the peripherals, and that includes the little DisplayPort adapter that you'll need to buy, because most of your stuff's going to be HDMI. That's Harry Potter. Yeah, put him in the cupboard under the stairs. But so like I said, keep an eye on the budget and just say, right, I'm not going to spend more than 200 quid. That's what I want. I want this, this, and this. And there's going to be people that's going to say, oh yeah, but you can get this and you can get that. But they are not going to offer you the support. And when it goes wrong, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. That's the main thing. Is having an app like TeamViewer on, which is basically what all the Indian scammers use to log onto their computer to steal your money. Having an app like TeamViewer, basically what you could do is, if you're having problems, I can log in from here to your house and I can sort out your computer from here, like I do with my mum. I mean, I used to buy, before I knew I could use my mum's credit card on my order, I was logging on to her computer to do her shopping, and she'd sit there looking at all the groceries, and she'd go, oh yeah, that's nice, all that, and because she likes to see, she likes to browse. So of course I was having to control her computer from here, and let her watch all the bits and bobs, and like, oh, do you want this one? Do you want that one? Do you like this colour? Do you like that colour? Right, we'll put that into your checkout. Right, you're going to check out now. Right, okay. Let me just put the thing in, and that's how we worked for a good 5 years, maybe more. I mean, she's had that computer now, God knows when. I reckon a good 5 years she's had it, and it's been flawless. It's been absolutely flawless. It cost about £2,000, but if you divide that over 5 years, it's worth that, because my sister's she bought hers for £500. I think it was an Asus one. It was like plastic thick. It was just garbage, and it was constantly breaking. The camera was at the bottom of the screen, so every time you did a video call, you just look up at their face, look up their nose. the camera was like a 480p. It wasn't even a 720. Now, don't get me wrong, the cameras that are on Macs are crap, but you know, at least you can plug in an external webcam and have a decent quality image. And again, with this one, you can get yourself a 30 quid 4K card and do streaming. You can do some live streaming with it. This will do a couple of. This will encode a couple of streams. You wouldn't be able to do much else on it, but as you know, as for just to get your signal encoded and up there, it'll do it, because the one opposite is a 4-core 8-thread CPU. This is also a 4-core 8-thread CPU, so it's the same. So yeah, that's the rant. The rant. No, I've still got to tomorrow. I've still got to sort out this router. I still haven't managed to put Astral on it yet. I've got Astral is the VPN software I use. I still haven't managed to flash it with the VPN software, but because I've been playing with this. But now that I know this works flawlessly, I'm going to stick it. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to keep Logic on it, because I've got this one for Logic. And if I'm honest, I'm not going to be going out travelling anywhere this year until, you know, and then a couple of months next year, we'll spend most of our time planning for the UK. So this is the kind of computer that I'll bring home with me, with a 21-inch screen. And then, you know, because I can do enough on it, it's powerful enough for me to do enough work on it. But again, I will actually, what I'll do is when we do a PC build next year, because the thing for me, I was going to do it as well as, not instead of, because I'm a greedy bastard. So what I was going to do is bring this back to the UK. This is going to be my streaming bedroom PC for the bedroom television or the living room television, right? The mini set-top box will be for the portable, will be for the camper van, will be for the shed, will be for the office, will be for whatever. And then I will also build another PC the same time as we build yours, and we'll try and get like a 2-for-1 deal on bits and bobs and the motherboards and that. And I won't go crazy. I'll just do I'll do maybe a £500 budget one, and I'll use that as my UK production machine, and that will be paired to the 27-inch monitor that I'm bringing back. And then when I come back to China, I will buy another monitor to replace the one that I've left in the UK, and then I'll basically have the same system that I've got here. And yeah, that's basically what I'll do. And again, if I need to go out somewhere and I need some computing power in a hotel or something like that, then I'll just bring this little box and plug it into the hotel telly through HDMI. I mean, you know, yes, it's nice to have a nice laptop. The thing is as well, what you have to realise is when you've got that Apple logo shouting everywhere, it says to everybody, hey, come and steal my shit. And that's if for some reason somebody broke into my room of the Premier Inn while I was out meeting friends or whatever, and they saw this Lenovo black box on the desk, they wouldn't touch it, because first of all, they'd think it's part of the hotel stuff. They'll think it's like a one of these like set-top box or even a modem. They wouldn't touch it. They'd look for your mobile phone. They'll look for your laptop. They'll look for your. They're probably more likely to nick your aluminium suitcase than they would this. So that's another reason why not to take a laptop on the road, because if someone nicks it, it's $2,500, or possibly more if you get one to a decent spec. Now, I'm not saying that this is the same spec as that, but it's definitely better than a £500 laptop. Definitely. I don't think there's any £500 laptops that can beat this. If they're AMD, then probably yes, but not a machine that can run Mac and Windows. Not at the same time, but you know, has the flexibility to be able to run Logic, Final Cut, you know, whatever. So yeah. Hello, governor. Hello, governor. Yeah. So that's you've arrived late. Jesus, we've been chatting for the past 1 hour 45 minutes about replacement Hackintosh builds. You've missed all the excitement. Deranged lunatic. I'm surprised somebody else hasn't got that screen name. How many deranged lunatics do you think there are on YouTube at the moment? So that's quite a good name to have. Normally it's going to be like Lunatic 45672 or something like that. Anyway, glad you could join. Hope it's all going well in your neck of the woods. Right, well, talking about saying hello, I'm probably going to say goodbye in a minute because I'm going to watch a movie. There's a couple of things I need to talk to you about on the Zelo if you're about and it's convenient. And yeah, anybody else? What I'm probably going to do as well, because I'm now encoding to 1080p. Before I was encoding to 720, but I'm now encoding to 1080. So what I'm probably going to do now is take some of my streams and edit them into a review bit. You know, like for example, we could do the bit where I'm talking about the walkie-talkies, and then the bit where I'm talking about the knives, and then just edit them into a 5 or 6 minute YouTube video, and then republish them as more, because none of these Just Chats have got any chapter markers in. They've got no hashtags. If anybody wanted to find any information on this machine that I've spent the last hour talking about, they'll never find this video. So if I took all that piece, like me just making that 4-bar track in Logic and just having that as a separate YouTube video and just publishing it with a proper how-to on a portable 150 quid computer, that's going to get some hits, because people are going to say, how do you get Big Sur onto a computer for £150? So Logic on Big Sur for 150 quid. Click here to find out how. Anyway, it's been a long day. Been a long day. Right, I'm going to love you and leave you, man. And I'm going to catch you on Zelo. I made a cracking curry today, by the way. It was a red Thai curry with coconut milk. Oh, beautiful. Problem is, I didn't have any rice, so I had to have it with toast, and I did the old dippy thing. Not as good, but yeah, I must order some rice tomorrow. I have put some in the freezer, and I've got some bolognese coming in the freezer, and I've got some beef coming tomorrow as well, so I'll get the burgers sorted out and put them in the freezer as well. So all good in the hood, and then it's gonna be Christmas soon. Oh, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. Right, thanks for watching. As always, you're awesome, and I shall see you soon on the flip side. What? Nice. What's this button do?